Well, hello, welcome to another exciting moment on our interactive mentorship session. I'm so glad that we are connected right now. I look to every of these moments every Friday because for me, it's a time of giving quality knowledge. It's a time for growth, for personal development, for us to have our eyes opened to various fundamental issues as touching, you know, personal development, understanding life, growing as a leader, touching your faith, and so much as it surrounds growth and development on a whole. So I look forward to this moment and I'm so excited that we are here, and it's going to be an amazing time just as it has always been before. So thank you, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making our time to be here. And believe me, it's going to be life changing today. It's going to be transformative. It's going to be highly impactful. This subject today is going to open our eyes to a lot. It's fundamental, but it's very essential for anyone interested in growth. And I can't wait for us to dig into it. So I welcome you once again, whether you're watching by Facebook Live or by YouTube. It's an honor and a joy to be here with you again. And I want you to just do me the favor. You know the drill. For those of you who are our constant viewers, we'll go to hit the like button first, give the video a thumbs up, and then share it with as many as you can, because some people need to be reminded that we are live right now. Some people need you to share the notification with them so they can tune in, and some who may have never watched any of these sessions before need to know that it exists and need to be a part of something good. So I want you to do me a favor right now, hit the like button and then just begin to share with as many as you can before we go into the session today. Share with everyone you know in your cycle. Take a few minutes to do that, and once you are done with that, we can go straight to the live chat session where we engage. Okay, it's interactive, so I really look forward to all your comments on the live chat session, whether they are coming as questions or they are you just simply telling us you are here, or they are highlighting on some of the points that are shared. Every one of such is highly appreciated and encouraged. So you do that when you are done hitting the like button and sharing with as many as you can. So go ahead and share. I'm waiting for you to do that. There's so many people who need to be part of this broadcast right now, and they are depending on you, both those who are returning viewers and also those who are new to this platform. For those of you who are watching for the first time, this is not by accident that you're connected. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you can just be patient to wait till the end, I'm sure that you will not regret tuning in. Okay, there's so much wrapped up in this broadcast for you, and I want you to get ready for that. So if you are watching for the first time, I want you to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, because these and many more notifications will be coming your way that you cannot afford to miss. And make sure you follow the page on Facebook. We have a big community growing there on the Facebook page, and I really want to interact with you. I look forward to that. So let's just follow the process and get into the session for today. So hit the like button, share, and then engage with me on the comment section. Let me know where you are joining from. Let me know what city, what nation you are connecting from, so that we can all be in sync. Okay, it's going to be an amazing time. 2 more minutes and then we'll get right into the discussion for today. So my team says we're good to go. Dibao joined all the way from UK. Thank you so much, Mr. Dibao. Greetings to your lovely wife as well, and hope you're doing good. How is the weather in the UK now? I expect to see your response on the comment section, but then again, every one of us is welcome. So back to our subject, we're talking about defining your values. This is a word or a phrase that is spoken about many times. You get to engage in discussions with people and you hear them talk about your values. Oh, this is my value system. Oh, this does not sit well with my values as a person, and all of that. And many times we can even engage in conversations using words that we don't have full understanding about, and as such we don't have the full import of the purpose of these words play out in our lives. And we are on this platform to grow and to self-develop and improve, and that's the reason why we are taking up this discussion. Sorry, we seem to be having a back and forth glitch here, but we can go now. I'm sure that's good. Maybe I'll just refresh it. All right. So let's look at the definition of values. Number one, I said values are individual beliefs that motivate people to act one way or another. Individual beliefs. Something you need to take note of there in that first definition. Individual beliefs that motivate people to act one way or another. Everybody's acting the way they act because of certain beliefs that they hold on to, certain beliefs that they uphold, that they hold on to in their life. Dibal says the weather is 16 degrees now. Wow, that's cold. Huh? We had almost 42 degrees today here in Maiduguri, Borno State, in the northeastern part of Nigeria. If we ever have 16 degrees, that's really cold. Okay? UK is cold, but I think we are moving into the summer, so it's relatively better than before. Mr. Connie says, more grace, I salute you and your endeavors. Thank you so much, Mr. Connie. So let's get back to our definition. Values, I said number one, values are individual beliefs that motivate people to act one way or another. So people will do what they do because of certain beliefs that they uphold. Here again, we're talking about belief system. So behind most of the actions you find actions and inactions of people are certain beliefs that they uphold. Number 2, values are principles or beliefs that individuals or groups consider important and desirable. Values are principles or beliefs that individuals or groups consider important or desirable. A belief that is upheld or a principle that an individual or a group of people consider to be important or desirable as touching their existence. Principles that are important to an individual as it concerns their existence. That's another definition of values. When we bring the word principles, it becomes familiar. The discussion is moving from abstract to becoming something tangible that we can relate with. Principles or beliefs that individuals or groups consider important and desirable. So that means you can talk about the values of a group of people, a community of people. Number 3, values are ideals or beliefs that a group or an individual hold and are essential for determining what is desirable or undesirable to them. Let me go again on that. Values are ideals or beliefs that a group or an individual holds and are essential for determining what is desirable. For determining what is desirable or undesirable to them. Ideals that we hold on to that determines what we desire or what we don't desire. That's another definition of values. I was just hearing myself now. Okay. Oh no, I like that. So that's a third definition of values. Then again, you see, these definitions shows you that values affect how we think and what we do. When you talk about desire, it's circulating around how we think and feel. And when you talk about actions, it's concerned with what we do. And anything that motivates how you think, feel, or do is important and worthy of note. Number 4, values are the principles you view as important to live by. The principles that you view as important to live by. Principles are fundamental or building blocks of life. Many people live based on the principles that they uphold. So when you consider a principle important to shape your life, or in shaping your life, you are dealing with your values. Values. Now, if you hear the phrase core values, it's now talking about personal principles or beliefs. And of course, like we said from the beginning, they go a long way in affecting or determining how we think, how we feel, how we act, and how we live our lives as human beings. Never you forget these 4 things: how we think, we feel, we act, and live our lives. So core values refer to personal principles or beliefs. Defining your values. I want you to take note of this. Values guide actions, decisions, and behavior. Values guide actions, decisions, and behavior. Every action that we make, every decision that we take per time, and our behavioral patterns are all facilitated or funded by the values that we uphold. That means your values define you. So if somebody asks you, what are your values? He's simply asking, who are you? Because it affects and it guides your actions, your decisions. And of course, nobody makes decisions without going through a whole thought process. Let me just give you a breakdown of how decisions are made. First of all, you must understand that this is not part of the discussion, but since we are here to grow and learn, it's good that you learn all of these things. Every human being has a soul. Your soul is the part of your being that is concerned with interaction, with articulation. Your soul is a part of your being that makes sense out of everything that you experience. That means without your soul, you cannot be an articulated being. Now, your soul has three components. It has your mind, it has your emotions, and then it has your will. These are the three components of the human soul. Your mind is where your thoughts are. You have your imaginations, and then you have your reasoning. These are the two aspects of your mind that are concerned with processing information. Your mind is where you think, where you reason things. Now, what you think affects how you feel. Because, you see, you interact with things by feeling them. Feeling flips you to the experience of what is around you. It flips you to the experiential mode of anything that you interact with per time. For instance, if you want to know if a suit is good for you, let's say you are dressing to go to an occasion, a party, or maybe for an interview or something, and somebody is recommending a suit. The first thing that will happen is you will imagine a suit in your mind and begin to think about a suit on you. Once you capture that process in your thoughts, it is moved into your feelings, your emotions. Your emotions now animate the picture that has been painted in the canvas of your mind. I really hope that we understand and we are following. But your emotions give life to your thoughts. It makes you have a feel of being in a suit. That's why I use the word animate from the word animation. Just the way cartoons are done. They are drawn and then they put some effects and then it becomes animated. So what is drawn begins to act as though it has life. And that's why your feelings, your emotions are a very important part of your soul. So what we think about affects how we feel. And how we feel, which is our emotions, affect the decisions we make in our will. Your will is the seat of decision and judgment. And this is the whole process that happens towards decision making. And I said values guide actions, decisions. So you see, it really affects your mental process or processes. Values guides actions, decisions, and behavior, influencing how people perceive and interact with the world around them. That's what values do. They guide your actions, your decisions, and your behavior, and end up influencing how you perceive and how you interact with the world around you. So you see, your values go a long way to define your personality. Your values are drawn from your personality. All right? And before defining your values, you need to know who you are. And who you are is based on an understanding of your purpose as an individual. If someone asks you in a sentence, in a paragraph, state your life's purpose, I hope you know that your identity should be crafted from the understanding of your purpose, because that's who you are and that's what you will be on earth. That's what you would want people to see you as. You know, when I was studying for this, I came across a site on the internet, and they were talking about how to define your values. And they mentioned some really nice things, but I beg to differ with their point of view, because they hung the defining of your values around your experiences. I mean, they put about 5 steps. They say, think about when you were proud of yourself the most, or when you felt proud the most. Think about when you were happiest. Think about everything was just based on experiences. And you see, it isn't good to define yourself based on your experiences. Sometimes there could be mistakes. Don't let your experiences define you. Learn from your experience. Let your purpose define you. Let your purpose give birth to your identity. I give you an example. John chapter 1, verse 6. And there was a man from the Bible, and there was a man sent from God whose name was John. And the Bible says this man came not as the light, but to bear witness to the light. And that was all that John did. When they went to ask him, who are you? Tell us. He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. He would have simply claimed the persona of another prophet who had existed before him. But he said, no, I'm simply a voice, a witness. It's not about me. There's somebody I came to front for, to advertise. Why? Because John understood his purpose. He knew why he was sent. He knew he was sent to identify the true light, Jesus the Christ himself. And he was busy about that. You see, his understanding of his purpose affected the view of his identity, how he saw himself. And so John lived a very simple life, because his purpose to him was defined in one sentence: I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. That's why he lived in the wilderness. It even affected the food he ate. It affected how he dressed. His focus in life was narrowed on a path, because he had an understanding of his purpose. Your purpose defines your persona, and your values are drawn from your persona or your personality. So when people ask you about your values, they are asking about your personality. Now, the question is, do you really understand your personality? Are you defining yourself based on your experiences, good or bad? Or are you articulating or trying to articulate your values based on what people say about you? The thing in life with many people is they have really not found out their purpose. And so many of them are developing values recommended to them, or developing values that do not align or correspond with their personality, which reflects that they have a right understanding of their purpose. So values guide actions, decisions, and behavior, influencing how people perceive and interact with the world around them. What are the examples of values? We have personal values, moral values, cultural values, professional values. Well, the list goes on, but I'll stick with the 4 for now because I want us to truly understand. Personal, moral, cultural, and professional. Remember, when we're defining values, we played with 2 words: principles and beliefs. Principles and beliefs. So when we talk about personal values, we're talking about your core values, the principles you uphold the most as touching your personality. What is your view about life? For some people, their personal values includes family. They believe that family comes first, and so they hold on to that as their values. Anything that doesn't project their family in front, they have nothing to do with. Anything that is not pro-family or pro-family relationship, they will have nothing to do with that. I just saw somebody online, Nifa Butu. I hope I got the pronunciation of that name very well. Nifa Butu. Please let me know where you are following from. Nifa Butu. And thank you so much for joining in. So let's look at it this way. Personal values talk about your core values, what you uphold the most about your personality. Okay? These are values that shape your beliefs, actions, and relationships. That's why they are called core values. Personal values are also referred to as core values because they shape your beliefs, they affect your actions as an individual, and even the relationships that you are involved in. Okay? Then there are moral values. Moral values, relate to your concept of morality. What is right or wrong? What is right or wrong? Do you believe in morality as an individual? There are actions that you will not find yourself doing because you uphold certain moral values. For instance, there are people that control what they watch and control the places they go to because of the moral values that they uphold. There are people who have no boundaries. Anything goes. All right? There are people who believe in justice, in equity, in fairness. While there are those who play, with being biased and who entertain compromise. Have you ever heard people say they can do anything possible to get what they want? That's showing that when it comes to getting what they want, they can throw morality out the window. Such unbounded values tells you what kind of person they are. And then again, remember we talked about the fact that values guide your actions, your decisions, and your behavior. Then there is cultural value. So these are the principles that are associated with culture, community, where we come from. Okay? Basic definition of culture is the way of life of a group of people. So because we have different cultures in the world, each of these cultures have different values that they uphold. For instance, in Nigeria, there are some cultures that value respect. In fact, Africa generally values the culture in Africa upholds the value of respect a great deal. You cannot call somebody older than you by their name. But when you go to Europe, you go to the Western nations, you see a young kid addressing a man with his name. There are cultures where if you pay a visit to somebody's house, they are supposed to give you a good hospitality. While there are some other cultures that uphold the values that you, that is the visitor, should bring something. Think about marriage, for instance. In diversified cultures, if you come to Nigeria, you see how different cultures uphold certain values when it comes to marriage. There are some cultures where your parents have a say as far as the whole subject of marriage is concerned. There are some cultures where your parents are not even supposed to be in sight. There are some cultures uphold the value of bringing in relatives to do what is expected to be the actions of your parents. So these are all cultural values. It shapes the cultures that we find around us. And it's important that you know this, especially when you travel a lot or you visit a lot of places or you have a mixed social class of relationships. When your social class is mixed, when you have so many friends together, it will be good you understand the values of their different culture, because some people are really cultural. And then there are professional values. Now this affects career building, career path, business, and how people play in the professional world. Some people uphold loyalty as a value in the professional world. If you have a boss who has a professional value system as touching loyalty, then you are working with somebody who you need to show them that you are 100% loyal. Some uphold the value of honesty. They want you to be straight with them. No matter what the issue is, you must talk. Say everything the way it should be. The day you don't, and you give them any reason to mistrust you, that relationship is tampered with, and it can affect your profession or it can affect your career. And that's why it's important that you understand, the values of your professional environment a lot. There are some other professional environments where anything goes. Anything goes. Anything goes. They draw a line for those who come late, and nobody will write after that line. Meanwhile, more than half of the employees came late. It's compromise. Okay? There are some professional settings where the employer expects you to not play by the books just to get results. They expect you to compromise, actually. Now, if you don't know the values obtainable in this professional environment, you'll be playing by your own values and still be found defaulting or wanting. So values are very, very, very important. Now, you define your value by first identifying your purpose and identity. Who are you? What are you on earth for? What is your assignment in life? Your values should be defined or stemmed from this. And then when your values are defined, you must develop your values by articulating them. State it to yourself and to others. These are my values. I believe in honesty. I believe in fairness. I believe in equity. Family comes first in everything I do. I believe in hard work, but I also believe in taking time to rest. You must articulate them to yourself. If you need to write them down, or if you need to find a way to orally rehearse them to yourself, it's very important. And then you must reaffirm them daily. Yeah, you must reaffirm them daily. Put them in a writable format or something, and try to reaffirm them daily by maybe confessing them to yourself or saying them to yourself. And some people go as far as even putting it as part of their resume, so that everybody around them knows, not just them, so that they can be held accountable to their values. Values are very, very important. You see, when people don't uphold values and principles, it shows that they are not living a life that has predictable outcomes, because there are no boundaries. There are no principles that defines their actions, their decisions, their behaviors, and what they do. And if you want people to take you serious, these are things you will really need to embrace. So I'm asking you before this broadcast is over, what are your values? For some people, their values is happiness. Anything that makes them happy. Anything, absolutely anything. They do anything to be happy. I met somebody before who plays before they walk first. I met an individual before. He has a lot of work in front of him, so much he will go and play. First, he goes for recreational activities. He feels that makes him settle to work. Well, for me, if I know I have work in front of me, there's no way I can go for anything recreational. I'll just be fooling myself. I've already set myself up to fail. So I loved him, but I couldn't embrace his values because they didn't define me. All right? Those days when we were in, high school, what we call secondary school in Nigeria here, we had this friend that when it was exams, even if it's exams or we're in the season where we're writing tests, if they are playing a football match, he must go and watch. He must watch to the end. He doesn't like hearing the scores. He will stay there and watch to the end. And guess what? He was an A student. You bet I was not going to do that, because that was not my values. He just believes in happiness and being relaxed and anything that makes him feel, good. So try to define your values. Now, as we round up, what are the importance of defining and developing your values? What are the importance of defining or developing your values? Somebody said psychosocial support. Maybe that's your value. You believe in being encouraged. You need somebody to cheer you on, give you some mental kinds of assistance. Okay, Nifa Butu says, yes, daddy. Is it she or he calls me daddy? You got the name right, daddy. I'm listening from Maiduguri. Oh, that's interesting. Are you a she or he? Nifa. She or he. And I would like to know what tribe. That's a very unique name. But thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. What are the importance of defining and developing your values? 5, and we are done. Number 1, it helps in establishing your purpose and choosing your career path. Okay, Nifa says I'm a he. God bless you, Nifa. What part of Nigeria are you? Or are you a foreigner? Number 1, importance of defining your values. It helps in establishing your purpose and choosing your career path. Definitely. Something that affects your actions, your decisions, your behavior definitely plays a major role in establishing your purpose and choosing your career path. Because your values are drawn from an understanding of your purpose. When you define your values clearly, it has established for you your purpose. This is my life assignment. This is why I am existing. And therefore, these are the principles, the guidelines that will guide or surround everything I do, which my purpose is centered on. So it's establish your purpose, and it chooses for you your career path. Helps you in deciding what career path to choose, because you don't want to go above your personal values or moral values. Number 2, it helps in guiding your decision making on a daily. It helps in guiding your decision making on a daily. Where to go, what to eat. Okay? One of my values, personal values, is bodily health. I watch out for my health a lot, and because of that, I don't take everything, no matter how tempting the offer is. I don't, because my health is important to my purpose. Some people swallow everything. I mean, I knew people in my secondary school that there was nothing they would not eat. Absolutely everything. So it helps you in guiding your decision making on a daily. Where you go to, what you do, who you speak to, everything as touching decisions, so that you can finish that day and know you are one step closer to fulfilling purpose. Number 3, it helps to identify what's important and desirable to you. When you define your values, it helps to identify what's important and desirable to you. Note this: even when you are faced with multiple choice, you can tell which choice or which option matches your desire, because you have defined your values. You've often heard people say that when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. There are some times when you can do without the available. For instance, if you uphold high moral values and you have a choice between a greater and a lesser evils, because of your strict moral values, you are advised to choose none. Between two evils, choose none. But if you don't have moral values that guide your decisions, you may be tempted to compromise and choose one. So sometimes you must wait until you get the desirable. For instance, someone's value is excellence, and no matter what you do, they will stick to getting an excellent choice. Whatever you do, make sure it comes out the way they want it to be. Otherwise, if they have to repeat the process 10 times, 20 times, they don't care. And there are times in your life when you need to insist on that, especially when it touches important aspects of your life. So it helps you to identify what's important and what's desirable to you. Number 4, it increases your confidence by bringing a sense of stability into your life. It increases your confidence by bringing a sense of stability into your life. When your values are defined, there is a sense of stability. That articulation helps your life appear coordinated and stable. Not a life where anything goes. And really, I hope there is nobody listening right now who lives that kind of life where everything goes. Dibal says, I value resilience and accountability. That's a very, very good value system to uphold. Those are very good values to uphold. Number 4, I said, it increases your confidence by bringing a sense of stability in your life. There is a level of confidence you move around with when you know that everything is in place. And you see, your values coordinate your life. They coordinate your existence. They stabilize your personality as an individual. It increases your confidence by bringing a sense of stability into your life. And then number 5, it establishes strong relationships and meaningful connections. Of course, you will not just connect with everybody. You'll allow your values become the sieve by which every relationship that comes into your life must go through. Some people entertain the good, the bad, and the ugly. It depends on their value system. But when your value systems are well defined and developed, it will establish what kind of relationships you have. For instance, someone like Mr. Diba, who believes in or values accountability, who holds on to the value of accountability, it means that you insist on having honest relationships. Or it means that you believe in relationships where both parties are accountable to one another. Whether they are marital relationships, whether they are working relationships, or whether they are just normal relationships with people. That's the reason why there's a difference between acquaintances and friends. Acquaintances are people you meet on the regular and get to share a few interactions with, but you don't really know them the most. But friends are people who you've interacted with over time and you understand them to support, to side, or to represent your values. That's why they often say, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. In scripture, the Bible says, he that walketh with the wise will be wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed. So when you say someone is my friend, you are saying that this person upholds and believes in my values. This is an advice for those of us in the corporate world. When you are seeking employment, it's advisable that you consider the values of the company or the organization that you seek employment with, because sometimes, most of the times, the employers or as an employee, you must be sure that your value matches or your values matches with that of your employer. If it doesn't work out like that, you are going to have serious workplace conflict. They call it conflict of interests. For instance, if you are going to work as a humanitarian and some of your moral values that you uphold is the opposite of the professional values within a particular organization. You'll have to either choose between upholding your values, which defines your personality, or foregoing your values because of an employment opportunity. But you see, your values are rooted from who you are. And just because you need a job, you throw away your values through the window, and then you grab the opportunity. You would have many conflicts inside of you and in the organization, because you will be fighting the things you believed in. You'll be destroying the beliefs that you upheld. So you're going to have many personal conflicts as well as organizational conflicts. So when you're seeking for a job opportunity, don't just pass the interview. Check to see if your values correspond. For instance, if you don't like to work under supervision and you're coming into an organization where everything must be supervised, it's either you forgo that opportunity or you find a way to adapt to that closed kind of system. Now, there are also exceptions where you need to adapt, but you must realize on the long run that your values thoroughly define you. And don't let a momentary employment change a permanent persona that you discovered and you have lived with for many years. There are some people who value growth and personal development. It's part of their core values professionally. But then they find themselves in a system that doesn't encourage growth. After a while, you may have to look for an opportunity elsewhere, because you want to work in a place where your values and the values within that organization match for the growth of your career and for the development of your personality. All right, so much said. Let me see if I have questions before we go. It's been an amazing time. I strongly believe that we have learned so much. I see a lot of comments, and that tells me we have learned so much. Checking to see if there are questions. All right, I expected questions, but I'm glad that there are none for now. And again, I know for some of us this may sound abstract, but I want you to watch again so you can understand. It's a very, very interesting subject about life. And I'm sure maybe when you watch the second or third time, you get to know so much. But we have to go because our time is up. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting discussion about defining your values. Let me know what you think in the comment section about the subject of discussion today. Also, I'd like you to write me, send me an email. My email address is being uploaded on the comment section right now. Let me know your questions. Let me know your thoughts. For some of you may have questions around your career as touching this subject, or around your relationships. How do you deal with somebody you're already in a relationship with? Maybe you're already married to the person and you are beginning to discover their values. How do you manage that kind of a relationship? How do you do when you find yourself in a working environment, a professional environment? Before you came into the system, they told you these were their values, or your employer told you these were his values, and you were okay with it. But when you came in, push came to shove on several occasions, and now you are being forced to throw away what you once thought were the values of the system and to embrace totally new, strange, and different values that doesn't sit well with you morally or personally? How do you cope? So let me hear questions like that. Send them to my email and I'll be sure to interact with you. Also, if there is anything you want us to discuss about, please email me, write me on my email, and we will craft out some of these Friday sessions for that. I'm concerned about your growth, your personal development, touching your career, your business, relationship, life, purpose, and your divine relationship with God. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do have an amazing weekend, and why don't you go back and watch this broadcast again and again? Trust me, it's going to open up your mind and revolutionize your thinking. God bless you, and bye for now.